Hello everyone. In this video, let's discuss about 2D arrays. Okay. So earlier we were discussing about 1D array. So first we have to know why do we use variable. So to store only one value. If I want to store only one value, I'll be using the concept of variables, where I cannot store more than one value in a single variable name. That was a disadvantage of one variable. So we have moved to the concept called 1D array. So when I go for 1D array, I can store multiple values of same data type in a single variable name. Or let's take a scenario saying that I want to store 60 students English subject marks, where I can declare an array saying that int English, I'll give the size as 50, where I can store 50 students mark. So either I can initialize directly or I can get the input only from the user. Now we have one more scenario where I want to store 50 students all the subject marks. For example, I want to store English, I want to store maths mark, I want to store physics mark, I want to store chemistry. Let's take 4 subjects. I want to store all the students and all the subject marks. In this scenario, we can go in 2 ways. First way, I can declare 1D array separately. So for English 1D array, for maths one more 1D array, for physics one more 1D array, and for chemistry we can declare one more 1D array. So here I have to remember multiple 1D array names. Or I can do it in another way, saying that I can declare 2D array, where on each and every row I can store one subject marks of all the students. Okay, so in that scenario we can go for the concept of 2D arrays. Now you can get to know where do we use 1D array and where do we use 2D array. So where you want to go for multiple 1D array, in that scenario you can go for 2D arrays. Or you can say whenever you are storing the values in the form of matrix or in the table format, we can go for 2D array. Now let's see how to declare a 2D array. So first I'll import the package, import java.util.star class main. So the execution of the program always starts from the main function, public static void main string args. This is what called as command line arguments. Fine. Now we have to declare a 2D array. So first I have to give the data type, where in 2D array also I can store all the values of same data type. First I have to give the data type. Then I have to give the array name arr. So we have to give 2 dimensions. One for row and another is for column. Okay, is equal to new int of, I have to mention the row value and the column value. So row value I'll give it as 3 and the column value also I'll give it as 3. So this is how we have to declare a 2D array. In another way we can declare is int, I'll give the brackets first, then I'll give the name. So this is the another way to declare a 2D array. Fine. Let's check whether it works or not. Okay, I'll comment this. See, there is no error, which means this is absolutely fine. Let me comment this and check. See, there is no error, so which means this is fine. Okay. Now I want to initialize the values for the 2D array. So if you want to initialize the values, directly you can give. So int arr is equal to, so first row 1, 2, 3. Then I'll give second row 4, 5, 6. That's all. This is how we have to declare and initialize a 2D array. Okay. Okay. Now let me print a value. So if we are storing like this, it will automatically take the row value and the column value. So here we have 2 rows and 3 columns. We don't want to mention the row value and column value. Now let me try to print the value of arr of 0th row and first column. Okay. So the output should be 2. Let's run the code and check. See, I've got the value called 2 because this is 0th row and this is first row. Okay, column. So in the matrix format it stores like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the index value again here it starts from 0. So this is 0th row and this is first row. And when I talk about column, it takes like this. So 0th column, first column and second column. When I try to print the value of 0th row, first column, so it goes to 0th row, first column is 2. So I have got the output value as 2. Okay, let me comment this. Now here, instead of initializing like this, if I initialize like 1D array, for example, int arr is equal to, like in other programming languages, I can give the values like this in 2D array. But here it will throw me an error. See here, I'll get an error. So if you want to initialize the value in 2D array, you have to initialize like this. This is the way I have to initialize the values in 2D array. I have got the output value. Fine. So if you want to access the element can be accessed with the help of index values. So 0th row, first row, second row, it goes on like this. 0th column, first column, second column, and it goes on like this. So this is how we have to declare an array and initialize the value for a 2D array. Now let's try to get the input value from the user. Okay, for 2D array. So to get the input value, I have to import the package called util package, because we have the class called scanner class. With the help of scanner class, we have to get the input value from the user. So import java.util.star class main. Okay, the execution of the program always starts from the main method, public static void main string args. Fine. So I've created a main method. I have to create an object for the scanner class, because we have to get the input value from the user. Scanner is equal to new scanner system.in. Now I have to get the row value first. So I'll give int r is equal to sc.nextInt. So I have got the row value. Next I'll get the column value. Int is equal to sc.nextInt. I have got the row value and the column value. Now I'm going to declare a 2D array. So how can I declare a 2D array? Int arr is equal to new int of row and column. So I have declared an array. Now I want to get the input value from the user. So for that I have to take a for loop. For int I is equal to 0, I less than row, I plus plus. So it iterates the row. Now for column, int j is equal to 0, j less than column, j plus plus. So here I am going to store the value in arr of I and j, which is equal to sc.nextInt. So here what happened? When I declare this array, the memory will be allocated. Let's assume the row value is equal to 2 and the column value equal to 3. So memory will be allocated. So for 2 rows and 3 columns. Okay. So the array name is arr. I'll give arr. So this is 0th row and this is first row. Column, 0th column, first column, second column. Now I have to get the input value from the user. So the execution starts. I value is equal to 0. 0 less than 2, yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. J value is 0. 0 less than 3, yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. I'll get the first input value called 10. That will be stored in arr of 0th row, 0th column. 0th row, 0th column, I'll store the value called 10. Then I'll go for the next column. Okay. 1 less than 3, yes, condition is true. I'll go here. 0th row, because I value is still 0, j value is 1. 0th row, first column, I'll get the input value called 20. So I'll store the input value called 20 here. Then I'll go for the next j value. J value becomes 2. 2 less than 3, yes, condition is true. I'll go here. I'll get the input value called 30. That will be stored in the index value 0th row, second column. 0th row, second column. The value is 30. Then I'll go for the next iteration. J value becomes 3. 3 less than 3, condition becomes false. I'll go for the next I value. I value becomes 1. 1 less than 2, yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. Again, J value starts from 0. 0 less than 3, yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. I'll get the input value called 40. That I'm going to store to the index value first row, because I value is 1. First row, 0th column. First row, 0th column. I'll store the value called 40. Now I'll go for next iteration. J value becomes 1. 1 less than 3, yes, condition is true. I'll go here. I'll get the input value called 50. That I'll be storing in the index value first row, first column. So first row, first column, I'll store the input value called 50. Then I'll go for the next j value becomes 2. 2 less than 3, yes, condition is true. I'll go here, I'll get the input value called 60. That I'm going to store it in the index value, first row, second column. First row, second column, I'll store the value called 60. Then I'll go to the next j value becomes 3. 3 less than 3, condition becomes false. I'll come out of the for loop. I've got the input value from the user and I have stored it in the 2D array. Now I want to print the values one by one. So what will I do? I'll take a for loop, int I is equal to 0, I less than row, I plus plus. Now for int j is equal to 0, j less than c, j plus plus. Now for our easy understanding, first I'll print the value arr of I, j. I'll separate the each and every row value with a space. Once the row got over, when I go for the second row, I'll go for the new line, system.out.println. Okay. Let's check how it gets executed. Here, I value starts from 0. 0 less than 2, yes, condition is true. I'll go for the inner for loop. J value starts with 0. 0 less than 3, yes, condition is true. I'll go here. I'll print arr of 0, 0 because I value 0, j value 0. So I value 0, j value 0. I'll print the value called 10. 10 will get printed. So I'll get the output value called 10. Now I'll go to the next j value. J value becomes 1. 1 less than 3, yes, condition is true. I'll print 0th row, first column. 0th row, first column. I'll get the value called 20. 20 will be printed. Then I'll go to the next j value. J value becomes 2. 2 less than 3, yes, condition is true. I'll go here. I value is 0, j value is 2. 0, 2. I'll print the value called 30. 30 will be printed as the output. Then I'll go to the next j value. J value becomes 3. 3 less than 3, condition becomes false. I'll come out of the for loop. Then I'll go for the new line. So earlier I would have got 10, 20, 30. Now I'll go for the new line. So again, I value will be incremented by 1. 1 less than 2, yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. Again, j value starts from 0. 0 less than 3, yes, condition is true. I'll go here. I'll print arr of 1, 0. That is first row, 0th column. I'll print the value called 40. 40 will get printed. That is 40 will be printed here. Then I'll go to next j value. J value becomes 1. 1 less than 3, yes, condition is true. I'll go here. I'll print first row, first column. First row, first column. I'll get the value called 50. 50 will get printed. So 50 will be printed here. First row, first column. Then I'll go to the next j value. J value becomes 2. 2 less than 3, yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. I'll print first row, second column. First row, second column. I'll get the output value called 60. So here 60 will be printed. That's all. This is the program. Let's run the code now. First I'll give row value, then column value. I'll give the input 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Let me run the code. See, I've got the output value. So this is how we have to get the input value from the user for 2D array. That's all.